Hello, this is Rob Charles. Now, I've been given a task by Mrs. Charles to tidy up my study. And whilst tidying it up, I've come through all sorts of things, including mini-discs. Anybody remember mini-discs? Also, plenty of videotapes. And, in fact, here is an audio recording from Minidisc, which I saved when I was on Magic 999, of the comedy legend Barry Cryer. This was recorded in March of 2008. I called him up at home. I've still got his number somewhere. And we managed to talk about the radio genius that is Kenny Everett. Have a listen to the interview. It's here now.
Golf balls. And at a quick count, about £30,000 in cash. And he came into the room and he said, "You've opened that drawer." She said, "Yes, I have. My treat for the silver wedding." She said, "What are these 3 golf balls?" And he said, "Oh, God," he said, "I owe it to you, my love, after all this time." Oh, he said, "Every time I was unfaithful to you, I put a golf ball in that drawer." And she said, "Oh, my God, 3 times in 25 years. "Ah, well," she said, "what's the £30,000? He said, "Every time I got a dozen, I sold them." Now...
That was Barry Cryer, and on the phone now, it is the man himself. Good morning, Barry Cryer.
Good morning, Rob. When was that recorded?
I was going to ask you, that was your first question of the day. Can you remember when that was first recorded?
No idea.
It was on one of your, I think it was your book, you know, the book which was available on cassette.
Yes.
I think it's actually taken from that.
Oh, right.
So, it was a good few years ago then, wasn't it?
A few years ago, yes.
And do you remember the end of the joke then when you heard it, first of all?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Which gets me on to the question, before we speak about Morecambe and Wise, what do you prefer? Because you are a multi-talented person.
Well, a jack of all trades and...
Master.
You finished the expression.
Because you've done radio, you've done script writing, you do radio, you still do radio now, and you actually perform as well, do stand-up.
Yes, I go up to Edinburgh every year, do the Fringe. I do rock and roll with a friend of mine called Ronnie Golden. We write all the songs, there are no covers. And we do a rock and roll show, usually in Edinburgh.
Right.
Last year I did Edinburgh on my own. Ronnie and I had a very amicable rest. We thought we'd take a year out. And he did some gigs, and I did a show on my own in Edinburgh last year. I was quite nervous, Rob.
Yeah?
First time I'd ever done Edinburgh on my own, you know. And, it was terrific. I really enjoyed it.
Because you did do you did a mini tour last year, didn't you? I mean, I think you came to Lancaster.
Yes, indeed.
I was working that night, because I'd love to see... I've been a big fan of yours for years, ever since.
For years, thank you. For years, I've been touring with Colin Sell, the pianist from I'm Sorry I Haven't a Clue, you know, the radio show. And Colin and I have been doing gigs together for years. And the guy who puts the show on said... You've played some places 3 times, he said. I want a new show. So we've got a new one on the road now. So
is there plans for coming back to the Northwest?
I sincerely hope so. Because
you're doing, you mentioned there about the radio show. I think you're coming to the Lowry in April to record that.
That's right. And we're doing 2 performances there.
Wow.
Which is lovely to know. It's never happened before. They put a matinee in. We're doing afternoon and evening.
And is this going to be recorded for the radio then?
No.
Oh, this is just separately.
Show.
This is stage show.
Nothing to do with recording for the radio.
Right.
We did 12 dates last year, and we're halfway through doing 12 now. No, it's nothing to do with the radio. It's our greatest hits.
So who's going to be there on the bill then with yourself?
Well, there's the usual gang. The great Humphrey Littleton, of course, chairman.
Yeah.
Graham Garden, Tim Brooke-Taylor, and Jeremy Hardy.
Jeremy Hardy's a very funny fellow, isn't he?
Signed up for the whole tour, so that's good news. And we're having a great time. I mean, it's amazing, Rob. It's like a Nuremberg rally.
Yes.
The audiences just got the tickets go online, and they go
straight away.
I mean, we can't believe it. We're delighted, and we're having a great time. I mean, we're going to Hammersmith Apollo in London, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's about 2,000 people. And we're just a radio show.
But it is a funny radio show.
That's years.
Yeah, but it is a funny radio show, isn't it? And it's proper like humour. People laugh at it. Where this, I don't know about yourself, but I mean, to me, the alternative sort of scene. There's a couple of TV shows at the moment, which I noticed in the paper yesterday. They put comedy sketch show, just in case you didn't know what it was. You know, to work out. It's some things, but yours is like traditional comedy, isn't it? It makes you laugh.
Having said that, there's a lot of brilliant talent around. A lot of it you don't see on television.
Yeah.
I get to know a lot of the younger ones, particularly in Edinburgh.
Yeah.
They call me Uncle Baz up there. I'm the elder statesman. Oh, the old fella's back.
Because you did that show on BBC, didn't you, where the new comedians came on?
That's right, the stand-up show.
The stand-up show, yeah.
Yes. Now, well, there again, you see, that's where I first met a lot of them, and it was Bill Bailey, who is just magnificent now. I mean, he's just terrific. But Bill and his then partner were the warm-up for the stand-up show. They weren't even in the show. They entertained the audience before the show, and then very quickly Bill came back in his own right and appeared on the show, and we all know what happened to him subsequently. I was so pleased. I thought, this man is brilliant.
Yeah. He's multi-talented, isn't he, as well?
Oh, well, I'd listen to Bill talking all night without even the music. But when he starts the music, it's just an amazing bonus.
And he looks funny to look at as well.
Oh, God, he looks like an unreconstructed hippie, doesn't he?
He does.
A relic of the 60s.
And the thing is, I've been looking forward to this as well, because one of my heroes, obviously I've been in radio now, I was working out last it's 26 years, one of my heroes in radio, and the person who actually got me into it was Kenny Everett. You used to write scripts for Kenny Everett, didn't you?
Oh, it's one of the happiest times of my life, Rob, that.
Yeah.
Working with Ev, as we called him. Because he wasn't a comedian. He was the only non-comedian I've ever worked with. He was Kenny Everett.
Yeah.
A good comedian will read a script and say, that's funny, but it's not me, because they know what they do. Ev would have a go at anything. He was wonderful. He was three-dimensional. He's never repeated terrestrially.
He is not, is he? I mean, I think it's one of the... is it Paramount are now showing him on...
yes, you can catch him on satellite and everything, and we don't quite know what's gone on with neither BBC nor ITV, because we worked on both.
Yeah.
They never repeat the shows.
And I was talking before to my producer here, and I actually wrote to Kenny Everett when I was working in hospital radio starting out. I wrote to him and said, any chance you could do me a couple of jingles? And he sent me about 4 or 5 vocoder jingles, which I still have it. In fact, I'm going to play one for you. Just bear with me a second.
Yes, please.
Have a listen. This is Kenny Everett. Lovely. And he wrote on the envelope, he says, don't tell everybody, because they'll all want one. How true he was.
He was brilliant. Wherever he lived, he turned a small room, whatever, into a studio.
Yeah.
And he could mix and record things. We did the do-it-yourself Bee Gee kit.
I remember that one,
with,
yes.
Kenny playing 3 Bee Gees and himself. Now, you'd take all day, normally, getting that together, particularly with the technology then, which was a bit primitive.
Yeah.
He knocked it off in an hour. And he brought a little cassette in, and we went in the sound department, and Kenny said to the guy, the old pro at the BBC, he said, "Ooh, this is just a little guide, might give you an idea." And the man put it in and played it, and he said, "That's it. I can't do better than that." And they used Ev's little cassette.
Which you record at home.
You heard. That was the measure of the man, how brilliant he was.
He was. Which leads us nice and neatly, because that was you worked with Kenny, as you say, at the BBC and at Thames, and on Monday, the day after your birthday...
Yes.
Morecambe and Wise, the Thames Years, the complete first series, was released on DVD.
That's right.
So you've written quite a lot for the Morecambe and Wise over the years, as I mentioned before. Is this the first time it's actually been released on DVD and video?
I think so. I always say in this context, Rob, that the main man, the A-team, is Eddie Braben.
Yeah.
He is a friend of mine. But I always say, John Junkin and I wrote a lot for Eric and Ernie, and I wrote with Mike Craig and a lot of other people for Eric and Ernie, but the classics are Eddie Braben.
Yeah. And most of so when you actually write for the for Morecambe and Wise, do you have to adopt a style for them, or was there?
Well, you're like a tailor making suits.
Yeah.
You vary it for the client, and when John Junkin and I were writing, John did a very good Eric Morecambe impression, wiggling the glasses and everything. And I'd be sitting typing or scribbling, and John would be walking about the room being Eric. And you can hear the voices in your head and how they would do it. You hope you get it right, and boy, if they did something you'd written, you knew it was going to be done well. And it was a joy to watch. And how did it come about then? Do you have... did somebody tell you, the producer, you need to come up with 4 or 5 scripts in a day, or do you actually just submit the scripts? Well, I'd known, so had John. We'd known Eric and Ernie as friends before we ever wrote for them. And then we got asked to write for them, and we'd sit and chat with them. And Eric was very prolific with ideas. And he'd mention one or two things, and I'd sit there making notes. And we'd come out from the chat with a few ideas, and then we'd go off and come up with some more ideas. And then you just put them in. Some were not used, some were, but used to overload, give them plenty of stuff to discuss and sort out. But as I say, you knew it was going to be done brilliantly when it was done.
Yeah. It must have been great working with the likes of Morecambe and Wise.
Oh, it was. It was an accolade. That's like playing for your country,
Absolutely. So the Morecambe and Wise show, the complete first series, is released on Monday, starring the likes in here of, in fact, some great comedians here as well. Leonard Roster, Alec Guinness is there as well, Suzanne, Gemma Craven, David Frost. The list goes on and on. This is from the first series that was broadcast in 1980.
Yeah.
So that's released on Monday, as I say, the day after your birthday. Do you know, I'd love to speak to you all day, because we could go on. I'm only on till 10.
It's a pleasure, Rob.
It is a pleasure speaking to you as well. But as I say, time goes on. You've got somebody else to be... I think somebody else is going to phone you up in just a moment, so I better get off the line. But in the meantime, Barry Cryer, it's been nice to... Oh, and before you go...
Yes.
I do have my small organ. I'm known round Lancashire for my small organ. And because it's your birthday, on Sunday...
Yeah.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Barry Cryer. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Barry Cryer. Happy birthday to you. I can't understand why nobody's signed me up yet. Can't understand.
How did you get Tom Jones to record that? I'm very impressed.
Always a couple of years ago, that was well.
I'm very touched by that, Rob. Thank you very much.
It's a pleasure. And likewise, I say thank you for talking to us here at Magic 999, Barry Cryer.
Bye-bye now.
Bye-bye. What a nice man. Barry Cryer. Listen, thank you for listening or watching, whatever you did, but much appreciated. And I'd appreciate it even more if you subscribe to my video channel. Down below. That's where you subscribe. Down below. Thank you. I'm off to feed the cat now, which is meowing. No, she's gone.